What's up, everybody? Good afternoon. It's time for another practice report. Time for another injury report from both the Seattle Seahawks and Buffalo Bills. And it's Thursday now, so it is far more likely that what you see is what you get. So let's have a gander. Brady Henderson has the latest from the Seattle Seahawks perspective. Let's go ahead and take a look at what he has. Um, so Thursday, so we're focusing on this middle column right here. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit. Did not participate. You've got DK Metcalf, which we were told about. We were told that DK Metcalf was not going to practice today. Did not mean he would not play, but we'll find out more tomorrow. So tomorrow's going to be the big day for Metcalf in all likelihood. If he practices a little bit, he's got a good chance of playing on Sunday. If not, it's not impossible, but the odds are certainly stacked against him. Trey Brown also did not participate, so his odds of being able to play are getting a little bit longer, I would say. We'll know more tomorrow, obviously, but at this point, I would say we're probably not getting Trey Brown back. And I know that some people would say, oh, good riddance, but Trey Brown is a good player. He's had some bad moments in recent games. And he's still a guy who's playing for a new contract. He's still a guy who wants to get paid this offseason. So he's got to put in some good reps if he wants to get that money. So I am not going to sit here and say that Josh Joby or Josh Jobe is going to be better than him in every single game just because of what I saw against Atlanta. So get well soon, but it's starting to look like this week won't be the week for him. We also had two players go backwards, which is interesting. It often implies that something got worse or something new cropped up. Cameron Young did not participate with the knee injury, and Mike Morris did not participate with an injury. So that's usually not a positive sign. That's usually an indication that something got worse and they're pulling back, and you probably won't see them on game day. It could be a rest day, I guess, but Cam Young and Mike Morris are both relatively young players. They don't really have the kind of experience that you would expect from a player getting rest days on Thursday. So the upshot is that we don't necessarily need either guy. Cam Young would barely play if he was healthy. He might even be a healthy scratch. And Mike Morris, now that we have Roy Robertson Harris, Mike Morris barely gets in the rotation at all. But it is worth noting that both guys went backwards this week, and that can often be a harbinger of something negative. So that's your DNP list. That's four guys. So we definitely saw some key improvement from yesterday to today. Nehemiah Pritchett now limited with the ankle injury. So Pritchett, very likely that he's going to be able to play at this point. And again, I know what people are going to say. They're going to say, oh, Pritchett's bad, Pritchett's bad. I want to see Joby. I want to see Fionn Hicks. Don't discount the possibility of Pritchett getting better with time, right? He was a player who clearly wasn't ready when the season started. He's still clearly not ready. But if he gets forced out there because of injury stuff, the odds of him eventually starting to look a little more ready go up and up and up. So, in the absence of Trey Brown, in all likelihood, and of course Artie Burns, I'm not going to turn down any element of depth with this team. So Pritchett limited, so he's on his way to be able to play at least some. Ken Walker limited with the illness, so he's on track to play. Still George Fant limited, still Abe Lucas limited. Neither guy has been activated yet. However, earlier today, worth noting, Ty Okada did get released in anticipation of a move coming later to fill that roster spot. So it's probably going to be either Jarek Reed or George Fant. One of the two. We'll see. But that is probably going to be the guy who gets activated in those spots. Fant or Reed. And I know it was Okada, so you'd say it's probably Reed, but not necessarily. We'll see what shakes out here. Enrique Woolen also limited, so he's on track to be able to play. Maybe he won't be 100% himself, but he should at least be on track to get on the field and participate against the Buffalo Bills. Full participation, Leonard Williams, he was back, all the way back after getting a rest day yesterday, so great to see, need that. Julian Love, full participation, so whatever happened yesterday, not considered significant. Brady Russell, full. Boye Mafe, still full. And Jarek Reed II, still full. So The only real movement there would be Love and Williams, but that is big. Well, those guys pretty much being guaranteed being able to play on Sunday is a big deal. Hard to win without them. Okay, so that is it for the Seahawks side of things. That's it for the Seahawks injury report today. We got the Buffalo Bills side of things to take a look at real quick here. They have their Thursday injury report up on their PR account on X. So, first of all, again, they've sorted things alphabetically, which I'm not a big fan of. But if you just look at this Thursday column, you can see that only 2 players were out today. But they're 2 pretty big players. Well, okay, I'll say 1 big player. The other guy, not so much now. But linebacker Terrell Bernard did not participate for a second straight day, as did wide receiver Curtis Samuel. Well, Terrell Bernard is the big one there, right? He's somebody who they've turned to in the absence of a guy like a Matt Milano. They've turned to in absence of a guy like a Tyrell Dodson, and he's been good for them. Terrell Bernard has been a good linebacker for them. That's 2 days in a row he hasn't practiced. Now, they do still list personal as a part of the reason here, but they also have an ankle and pectoral injury listed as well, so that implies there's a real chance he doesn't play. And, I mean, this Bills defense has done a miraculous job over the last few years surviving injuries. They can lose safeties, Poyer, Hyde. They can lose cornerbacks, Tre'Davious White. They can lose linebackers, Milano. They lose players constantly, and they stay near the top of the league. And that's been the case so far this year. But you don't want to keep testing that theory over and over and over and over again. Eventually, you want to actually have some good players. And Terrell Bernard, if he can't go on Sunday, that's a significant loss. That puts them down to really starting to scrape the bottom of the barrel at linebacker. Because most of their talent, most of their depth is focused on that defensive line defensively. I think their defensive line is carrying them through some real issues they have on the back end with that linebacker and defensive backfield. So if they don't have Bernard, that's a stinger right there. Curtis Samuel, now that they have Amari Cooper, that's not so important. You know, they're going to go with a lot of Amari Cooper and Coleman and Shakir as their 3 receivers, and Samuel's not really a big part of that. But it's worth noting, did not practice again. At this point, maybe you conclude that he's unlikely to play. Beyond that, we have a collection of guys who were limited. Dwayne Carter still limited, rookie defensive lineman. Not the biggest loss. Wide receiver Mac Hollins limited, not a huge part of what they do. Teron Johnson, really good slot corner over in Buffalo, limited. Maybe he's less than 100% at this point. Excuse me. Dalton Kincaid, limited. Dawson Knox got back on the field today, limited. Dwayne Smoot, groin injury, limited after missing practice yesterday. So you got to figure all those guys are on track. But if their tight ends and Teron Johnson are limited in some way and can't go like they usually go, that's a big deal. Think about a guy like a Teron Johnson, who's a really good slot corner, one of the better and maybe one of the best in the league. If he's not feeling right at all, that is something that can have an effect. And then you've got a bevy of guys who are full participants today, not guys that you would ever expect to miss the game. You got Josh Allen with a left hand injury. You know Josh Allen's not missing a game with a left hand injury anyway. Darrington Evans, now he might not be activated off IR, but either way, it doesn't really matter. He wouldn't play. He's a backup running back. DeMar Hamlin, full. Daquan Jones, full. So the veteran rest day was just that, a veteran rest day. And that would have been something that would have been hard for them to withstand, losing Daquan Jones, but he's fine. Quentin Morris, full. Mitchell Trubisky, full. Dorian Williams, full. So clearing up pretty well for Buffalo, but Terrell Bernard, we're going to have to monitor what's going on with him tomorrow based on this injury report, because if he can't go, that does really damage what they want to be able to put on the field defensively. Okay. I'll see you guys later. Go Hawks. Yeah, that's about the shape of it right now. I will talk to you guys maybe another video later today, more than likely. Just another video tomorrow, and then I'll be on Twitch tonight. Today is the last day of normal Twitch stuff for a week. We're doing Horror Game Week starting tomorrow. So come check it out. Final Metaphor stream for a week. And then we're going to be hitting away at those horror games. See you guys later.